Hello and welcome to another character portfolio. This time we will be looking at another major character, that being Carl Grimes, the son of Rick and Lori Grimes, child of the apocalypse and survivor of 2 gunshot wounds. Shame he didn't survive the third. Carl is played by Chandler Riggs. He is male. He was 12 in season 1 and around 14 at the time of his death. It's argued whether or not he is 14 though, of course, the actor aged, but the character really didn't. Obviously, it's basically the second protagonist of the series, so it's kind of hard to see him go. But anyway, let's get into his timeline. Carl was born in 1998. He was raised by Rick and Lori Grimes in King County, Georgia. The family going to the Grand Canyon on a nice holiday one day. When the apocalypse started, Shane helped Carl and Lori to safety. After the Atlanta bombings, they seek refuge in the Atlanta camp. Carl befriended Sophia here. He gets a haircut, he catches some frogs, and then his father returns in a heartbreaking reunion. However, Rick soon leaves to go help Meryl. The camp is attacked, and Carl stays with his mother as the others fight off the walkers. They soon leave and go to the CDC. Obviously, at the CDC, Carl drinks some wine and he kind of has fun there. And then he leaves and flees when it blows up. In season 2, Carl finds some tools and then gets shot accidentally by Otis, basically. Carl is brought to Rick to Herschel's farm, where he has a seizure but soon is saved. Rick gives him the iconic hat. He soon gets better and he's able to walk around, obviously after Shane brings back the medical supplies. He nicks a gun from Daryl, witnesses his friend come out of the barn as a walker. He gets pissed about he pisses about with a walker, which eventually kills Dale, and Carl's obviously upset because he feels guilty about it. Later he goes to look for his dad, who has just killed Shane, and Carl obviously is the one to put down his dad's best friend when he turns into a walker. In season 3, Carl is obviously a lot more grown up now. He's acting badass, he's killing zombies like nothing. He helps obviously clear out the prison, he helps with Herschel when he's bit. But when the walkers invade, he obviously has to go with his mother and Maggie and help give birth to his sister, Carl being the one to obviously put her down so she doesn't turn. Carl searches for a name and settles with Judith, the name of one of his old teachers. Carl goes to help Michonne and guards the prison as the others rescue Maggie and Glenn. Carl finds Tyrese in his group and locks them in the prison, obviously saving them in the process though. He goes back home to find a crazy Morgan, Carl being the one to shoot him, of course. Carl gets a picture of his mom for his sister. Carl packs bags and leaves the prison, hiding in the woods with Herschel and Beth. Obviously later, Jody stumbles upon them, and Carl shoots him coldly. Dead. Rick isn't happy with this, and Carl seems pissed when Rick brings the Woodbury people in. Obviously the whole line, I did what I had to do. In season 4, Carl goes back to his old self. He is obviously helping farming and shooting zombies that come into the prison. Carl begins to obviously farm with his father, but when the governor eventually attacks, Carl obviously helps the others defend the prison, finding his father eventually, and they stumble away in defeat, obviously after they think that Judith is dead, with this famous line.
Don't look back, Carl. Keep walking.
Carl and Rick just sort of walk for a while. Carl gets mad with Rick. Carl kills some walkers, eats some pudding, and nearly kills his father as he thinks he's turned, but it's all good. They eventually find Michonne. They go to get supplies, of course. They're kind of living a happy little time there. And of course, Rick eventually kills Lou, so they have to leave. They head to Terminus, but before they get there, they are stopped by Joe's group. Dan tries to obviously rape Carl, but Rick bites Joe and stabs Dan to death. Carl and Co. reach Terminus and are thrown in a container. So yeah. In season 5, we see Carl escape with the others. They obviously find Gabriel. He helps Gabriel. Carl wants to he's kind of arguing that Gabriel can't be that bad of a person. He eats dogs with the others. He helps defend the barn from the herd of walkers in the hurricane, or the tornado. He soon arrives at Alexandria, making friends with Ron and Mikey and Enid. Obviously, Carl finds her outside of the walls. They kind of bond a bit. Carl tries to break up the fight with Rick and Pete too. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Carl. He doesn't really do much in season 5, to be quite honest. And then we come to season 6. Carl obviously seems to be in a little bit of a love triangle here with Enid and Ron. Carl helps teach Ron to defend himself. When obviously the wolves come, Carl and Enid stay together. Carl saves Ron from one wolf and obviously killing him. Carl flees with some others when the zombie breaches the walls. Carl fights with Ron in the garage, which obviously ultimately lets the zombies in. Carl disarms Ron in a pretty badass way, and he soon leaves the house with the others covered in zombie guts. Obviously Sam eventually blows their cover, and Ron wants to kill Rick after his mom and brother are killed. Michonne stabs him, causing the gun to shoot Carl in the eye. Rick brings Carl to Denise, who of course eventually saves him. Carl soon goes with Rick and Co to help Maggie at the hilltop with her baby, and they are soon captured and forced to his knees with the others, and obviously Negan sort of taunts Carl a little bit there. And then, of course, in season 7, Carl witnesses Glenn and Abraham be killed. Negan then wants Rick to cut off Carl's arm, but Negan backs out just as he was about to. Carl pulls a gun on David when they take medical supplies, and Negan is impressed. Carl leaves with Enid, and the two hang out like lovebirds, and eventually they share a cute little kiss. Carl goes into the back of Negan's truck, killing 2 guys, and then he's captured by Negan. Negan makes him sing, witnesses a burn victim, but then Negan returns him to Alexandria unharmed, Negan making him spaghetti as well. Carl accompanies the group to the kingdom and then to the ocean side. Carl is armed, waiting for the attack in the finale. He bravely kills some scavengers who betrayed them and begins fighting against Negan. However, he's soon captured. Negan seemingly about to kill Carl when saved by Shiva. Carl then joins in the fight. In season 8, Carl copies his dad exactly from season 1 in terms of his movements. He then obviously leaves food for Sadiq, who Rick scared off. He then goes to find Sadiq, the two killing zombies, to honour their moms. However, Carl is bit in this encounter. Carl then brings Sadiq back, leaving him in the sewer. He writes some notes, spending some time with his sister, and manages to rescue all the Alexandrians when Negan arrives. He buys time talking with Negan before going to the sewers with everyone else. Rick and Michonne come, and Carl is revealed he reveals his bite. Carl says his goodbye, tells Rick his dream for the future, and then shoots himself inside the burnt church. We also see a flashback of Carl in the finale as a younger boy, of course, talking about the farm that he and his father visited, which he addressed in the letter addressed in his letter to his father. So Carl was a huge character and was basically Rick's motivation throughout the series. His character showed how brutal it was to grow up in this world, and he would often resort to murder at times. Carl will be missed by many fans, and it's hard to think how they'll adapt his wasted comic book storylines. Carl will live on forever in Rick's memory, and his letter is what changed the outcome of Season 8. Carl was an interesting character throughout the series, and one of my favourites, so it was really sad to see him go. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. This one, I mean, it's kind of long. This one was quite long, but of course, Carl's the biggest death we've ever had in the series, really. So it kind of had to be kind of long. Yeah, so next week I am not entirely sure how I'm going to be doing. If I just go quickly look for you guys, I will be doing Sasha Williams, so of course be doing Sasha, who of course died in the season 7 finale, and we'll follow that with Simon, because Simon was a main character who we lost in season 8. So yeah, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.